Hello, and welcome to Talk Relationship to Me, the show that explores some of the most important relationship topics. I'm Dr. Elana Hoffman. As a clinical psychologist, I focus on all things relationships, from dating to sex to long-term relationships to divorce. I cover it all. I use my professional lens as a psychologist, as well as lived experience to cover these topics. Do you need to talk relationships? You're in the right place. On today's episode, I am continuing to cover Summer House with special guest, friend, colleague, relationship coach, Andrew Ninnemann. We have decided on the spot to make it a two-parter episode to give
back,
you listeners
people.
a break.
Yes,
to
yeah,
give
you need
everyone a
bathroom
break. And we're learning lessons as we go here. So thank you for hanging in. So we just discussed episode 7 with some previews for episode 8, and so now we'll focus more on that. Thank you, Andrew, for joining and for the conversation.
Of course. Glad to still be here.
Yes.
Glad all you listeners out there, thanks for bearing with us. We just wanted to make sure to be able to give you a full dive on some of the really intense, juicy, very real relationship content that happened.
For sure. Yeah, totally. And episode 8 is definitely a doozy. So, we left off at this dinner, which was a juicy dinner where a lot happened in terms of conversation between the cast members and some repair. And so we left off where Sierra and West kind of started to not rehash, but just discuss. They just, discussed what happened with them, and a lot of important stuff came up, and Sierra was really real and sort of really vulnerable in these conversations. And one of the things that you and I didn't talk about last time or the time before really was I don't think basically a lot of her issues, what she was mad at West about was her feeling like West basically talked to the press about their relationship before he talked to her. So, we didn't see that, right? This happened in between seasons, and this happened after filming wrapped and then before the reunion of like 2 summers ago when they first got together.
Oh, yes. It's all coming back.
Right. So she came to the reunion really upset with him. I remember that reunion. She just like didn't look at, she was so hurt. She really didn't look at him. And one of the issues really was that she was so hurt by the fact that he talked to press about their relationship. It basically was like, yeah, this is over. Like, I'm not really that into her anymore, before he said anything to her. And she was really hurt by that. So we revisit that. That comes up again. I don't remember exactly actually how this conversation came up.
Well, it's so funny because I remember in the previews, something about the way they did the angle of the shot with Wes saying something in the previews. I was like, oh wow, they have this one-on-one chat, and I was almost surprised at the level of kind of vulnerability that was happening, just being opened right there. And I'm glad it happened. It seemed like there were a lot of interesting contributors to the conversation. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I think this is a really interesting thing about the show, and something that's really authentic and real is like they're living together. These conversations are happening. They're happening at the dinner table. Like, couples are getting in fights. Obviously, Kyle and Amanda, people people hash things out. People argue. People repair, like, at a dinner table. And that is a common thing in this show. It's because they live together and they're living their lives together. And I think at one point, I don't remember who said this or what season it was, but I just remember this sticking out of like, just have this conversation now. We're all going to be talking about it later anyway. And they did. I don't remember the context of that, but yeah. So they're all like involved, obviously, in each other's lives to a degree that, like, I think can be really beautiful. They can be really there to support each other and really to give feedback and to understand, because they're seeing real time this conversation. And the main players in whatever conversation are probably like, well, they're going to see this anyway, and we might as well. So it's just it's a really interesting dynamic that is unique to the show, I think. And maybe some of these Bravo shows in general, like Vanderpump and these things that were like things that friends would not necessarily be privy to, or at least they would get a secondhand account. Like, they're right there,
they're in it. Yeah. So to your initial statement, I don't remember exactly what broaches it.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how it came up. But basically, Sierra starts talking about that, and she adds this really interesting and vulnerable component of race to the conversation, and she says that she
Yeah.
got a lot of flack from the Black community about basically, like, letting a white man do this to her and how difficult interracial dating is, period, and then to get all of this hate in response to this, she just talked
Yeah.
about how difficult that was for her. And KJ jumps in, and he says he sees it with his sisters and if they date
Right.
white men. And Mia jumps in, as the other Black woman in the house. And, they all kind of talk about it. And all the white people at the table basically shut the fuck up and they listen
Yeah.
and they hear it. And West,
It was nice. It was nice.
totally. And West hears it, West is like, basically like, thank you for sharing that. Like, I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't realize at the time what the impact that would have, I realize it now, and I'm really sorry, and it's a really nice, moment of repair, and
Well,
go ahead, sorry.
no, you're good. It was, but also I remember Sierra responding to that and saying something along the lines of, "Yeah, it really sucks that it took you having to experience it to actually understand it."
That's what I was just gonna say.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I no, 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 I yes, and, like, that's what happens, right? Like, I just remember thinking this and noting it as I was watching it, how, like, m there's no other way, right? Like, people aren't
Yeah,
like, he had this experience, so did she. He learned from it, he reflected on it, he's coming back, and he has a new perspective on it that he didn't have at the time because he was in it, and it's like, yes, like, oftentimes, like, you wish that you would have the knowledge of something that you wish that you have the knowledge that you get from a painful experience without having to have
right.
that painful experience, but that is impossible, right? That is just
And
how life works.
yeah, that's a
So
really good point.
yeah, so what Sierra was saying is totally valid and like that's just not how it is. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
she
how most real learning is taking place.
that's it, right? I mean,
Yeah, hard
yeah.
knocks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then and then we see we see Sierra and Mia discuss it in the morning.
Right,
And they basically they basically are like, I'm glad we talked about this. This is something that's really important to talk about. We're living in a house with all white people and, they don't have to think about these things. And they both say that they appreciated the response and like they appreciated people listening and trying to understand, even though they can't understand, but like being there
right.
and supportive. And I think that they're basically like, that's the best we can ask for. And we're happy that happened in this way.
Yeah, I was really, glad to see a race discussion at that level of depth
Yeah.
on this show.
Yeah.
Mm, particularly, with Mia and KJ both being Black and being on this season, and
Yeah.
Sierra being one of the only Black people throughout a number of seasons.
Yeah.
I also really, as a aside but a connected point, it was adorable and sort of amazing to see how much Sierra loves KJ. I would
Yeah.
kill for that man, like,
They
he is
really
so yeah,
Yeah,
they
they really
both,
connect.
yeah.
They did have a conversation about race a few episodes ago. I think it was maybe the 1st or 2nd episode. It was early on.
In the living room?
Ye that it outside. They had one outside. I think they might have had multiple conversations. Remember the
Uh,
one outside
yeah.
where they were talking about their upbringing and they were talking about, like, KJ was
Oh,
talking
right.
about, like, how his, family would say, like, "You have to be extra careful as a Black man, not to do XYZ," and, they had a pretty, like
Oh, right, they were sitting in the grass or
Yep,
something. Yeah,
yep,
yeah, uh-huh.
yeah, so, yeah, it's really it's great to see these super important conversations, you know?
Yeah, why didn't a white man just add in a thought? Just would have been so powerful. Sarcasm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and, I mean, I do think that West I do think, I think was really important for him to really hear her perspective and to really understand why it was such a big deal to her on top of her being hurt in general from the relationship, like, there's this whole element that was so relevant for her that he didn't understand.
Yeah. I don't she never talked on any Instagram public facing thing about the messages she was getting, right? Like, this is the first time she's talked about that.
I
People
think
talking about
I think so.
that's
I
okay. That was my
think there's
thought, or I
something.
hadn't seen it, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but I just was shocked, not in a how could this be happening, but I had no idea,
Yeah.
like that's what she's got going on the back end, like.
You
And,
know,
she says you can't control who you love, and she has that beautiful, poignant scene, Solo talking about it and
yeah.
tearing up, and it's so true.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I mean, this is also like, you put you're on a reality TV show, and so you put yourself out there, right? And all of them, I'm sure, deal with all kinds of comments, positive and negative, and they're just
Yeah.
like, this is my life, and this is what happens when I put it out into the world, and I think it's a really powerful thing. And yeah, I mean, she's right, of course. Like you can't control who you love, but you can control who you date. And so,
Okay.
her,
Yeah, that's very wise.
and so her thoughts of like, I feel a certain, I mean, we'll see what happens with them. I do think this repair continue to sort of, continues to crack the door open of something, I mean, obviously, we're
Right.
seeing, and so, yeah, I think that the feelings are still there. They actually may never have gone away. Certainly, like, being in proximity again is gonna bring up these feelings because that's what happens when you're in proximity, and
Mhm.
so, but again, if she decides or if he decides, this isn't a this won't work for other reasons that don't have anything to do with feelings, that is in their
Right.
control,
Yes, that's a very good point.
so hard.
Yes.
It's not easy. I mean, it's not, I mean,
No.
certainly easier said than done, that's for sure, but
I mean, she seems so torn.
yeah,
She doesn't always share,
yeah,
verbally, but just from watching some of those scenes,
yeah,
it, she clearly, they both still love each other.
yeah,
To your
yeah,
point,
yeah,
do they need to date? I don't know.
yeah,
They can. We'll see.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Date again.
We will see. Yes, we will see. Let's see, let's see. Oh, and they end the dinner with Amanda making a joke about asking everyone to say one nice thing about her, which was
Oh, right, which is perfectly landed.
which was perfect.
Also, wait, didn't we? I had totally forgotten about this, Alana. I don't know if it was on your mind, but they brought up the toe gate thing,
Oh,
or
yeah, they
the
did.
whole toe sucking Jesse. I'd totally forgotten about all
I
that.
had totally forgotten about that, and the flashbacks to that was really enjoyable.
Incredible, incredible.
It was
Really
so
good
good.
production.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yes, yes.
The
Yeah,
montage and yeah,
yeah, that was so good. Basically, I'd totally forgotten that that happened, which is basically, like, Jesse, like, essentially involved himself in, like, a threesome that another cast member who is not back this season, I don't remember his name. Andre? Is that his name?
yeah, I think so.
Oh, I really just pulled that one out there.
Yeah, wow. I mean, the Italian man just popped into your,
Yeah, he had, like, brought these girls back to the house, and Jesse, like, drunkenly, like, stumbled in there, and, apparently one of them sucked his toe, and at the time, he was dating this other cast member, Lexi, and didn't tell her about this toe sucking, and they called
What
it
was he
Toegate. It
thinking?
was just
What
all
was
so
he
good.
thinking?
It was all
My goodness.
wildly entertaining. Okay, so
Great television,
yeah, it
yes.
really is. Oh, and then one of them also makes a joke about Lindsay wanting to sleep with Ben, which I think is probably true. So we'll see how that goes.
Right, right. No, I can see that.
Yeah, I
I
can
can
see that
see
for
that.
sure. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Okay, so we open episode 8. Are we done with episode 7?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Let's get to the darkest part.
So we open episode 8, and I mean, there's of course a recency bias here, and it's been a while since I've watched Vanderpump, and the Valley is I don't remember what I'm about to. This is one of the darkest episodes of reality TV I just feel like I've ever seen.
Totally.
Um,
From the get, I was just like,
yeah.
"Oh my,
Yeah,
is
I mean,
actually
I would have to
happening?"
really think about, and again, Brittany and Jackson, that whole Vanderpump, I mean, that gets really dark.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
maybe that's actually not true, but it's up there for sure. This episode is up
Definitely.
there, and I think it gets even. I mean, we'll see how we'll see how it goes.
From
But
some of the previews,
there's like
at the end of
some
episode
fight.
7, I was like,
Yeah,
"What is going to happen?
yeah,
What?"
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
But it basically opens with Kyle and Amanda already fighting, I guess they went out oh, okay, so they went to dinner and then they went out, and
It seemed
then
like there was some partying or,
yeah, and then the episode picks up, I think, when they're back at the house after going out after that dinner. 'Cause there
mhm.
were a few scenes of them out and dancing, and then coming home at different times. I love the timestamps. The ti For some reason, I love when they tell me
So
what time it
helpful,
is.
so
So
helpful.
helpful. Like,
Yeah,
they
and
get up at
sometimes I'm like,
10:30.
"It that's the time? What?
Yeah.
It's 2:30?"
Yeah, like, Lindsay came home at 12:30 AM, then the rest of them, like, stumble in at 3 in the morning. Like, I the timestamps, thank you, bravo for showing us what time it is in that
Yeah,
house.
keep it up.
Yeah.
Please keep it up. Well, and then I think Kyle DJs for a bit, and there are people around, it seems like,
Yeah,
which
Kyle DJs
seems
for a
like a
bit,
crucial thing to note.
they dance a little bit, they have the cardboard cutouts are still they
Incredible.
have cardboard cutouts of each of the cast member that they place in different areas around the
Yeah.
house, and it's just so good. It's it's
Okay, I have to ask a this is not a relationship question,
yeah.
but as basement DJ
Yeah.
and, electronic music aficionado,
Yes,
I've
yes.
always wondered, do you think those scenes where he's DJing and music's playing very clearly, have they overdubbed with a different song or the actual song he was playing
He was
then, but
playing.
in nice quality? What do
I
you
don't
think?
know.
No, either.
I would love to know, and yes, you bring a really interesting perspective, of course, to this whole DJ situation, and, you
True.
know, I wonder yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Laura, if you're listening, it's not gonna be my primary income. Don't worry.
You have some
Getting a manager soon.
I was gonna say you have some meetings with managers after this. Yeah, good.
Actually, yeah, after this, I have to go tell her I signed with a manager.
But yes, but I mean, this is a real talent and passion of yours also. So,
Oh,
like,
totally.
on the show,
Yes.
it's really like, but it and the show brings another element to it, a really dark element to it, but, like, yeah, I mean, this could it's not about the DJing, as I've said in other episodes, like, if Kyle and Amanda were in a different place and if things were different, like, if she I mean, she just, like, cannot stand this situation. She thinks it's
I was
insane.
What you just said made me think it's not about the pasta.
Oh, yeah. Ugh, James, yes, yeah.
Sorry, Vanderpump call out for any fans out there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, so
A
okay, so
little more time passes,
yeah, so they're
and it seems like
dancing,
yeah,
and then, they're all I mean, they're drunk, they're all drunk. They go outside, some of them go outside, but Kyle stays in, and he's still DJing, and he's kinda dancing, like, solo. The rest of them are outside hanging out. This is another instance where you see Amanda with a personality, you know,
totally, totally. I was
laughing.
thinking of that scene when you were describing it,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it
with
just is
her.
it's so when it really is such an important perspective that we get as viewers to really see what someone is like without their, uh, dysfunctional, toxic relationship. Like, it's just like we
Right,
see it happen. We see her lit up, and then Kyle comes out and everything changes. And, like, same the other way, like, but it's really like we see her personality shine and when she's not around him, and that is obviously so incredibly telling.
mhm. Yeah, they just seem to be having a blast out there. They're hanging out, it seems very
Yeah,
appropriate, just like good
yeah.
conversation is happening, end of party vibes.
Yeah, and Kyle gets so mad that she's having a good time without him. He comes out, he's having a tantrum, he's having a drunk tantrum, and he
Yeah,
says
very drunk.
yeah, and he says he what he says he's mad about is that Amanda leaves him. He says, "I'm isolated and alone. My wife doesn't care about me, like, she leaves me here,"
And
Um,
he's just saying that to, like, the 5 of them, 4 of them hanging out, kind of?
I think he's saying it to, like, himself, like, I think he's, like, kind of, like, muttering to himself because 'cause they're kinda like, "What?" And then he says it louder, and everybody's like,
Yeah,
"What are you talking about? We're just hanging out," you know?
right.
And Amanda's like, "What are you talking about? We're just hanging out." But, of course, this is another example in his mind of him being totally rejected and, like, his wife not liking I mean, he says, "Amanda doesn't like me. Amanda hates me." He says this repeatedly throughout this episode, and I think episodes before, and it's just, like, when this happens, it just highlights to him that his wife doesn't like him, and
Right.
that is a dark truth of this relationship, and,
Yeah, yeah. I was
and
just gonna sorry, I was just gonna add that, one thing I feel like I often see with couples I work with is this sort of dynamic where a thing has happened so often, whether we call it a trigger, whatever it is in the relationship, that it's sort of overfires. And that situation, in my mind, from the objective reality we're able to see behind our televisions, he's just hanging out and he's totally off on this.
Yeah.
But it triggers it and he's super drunk, it would seem. And that all these other things that were innocuous in a relationship can start to become fights accidentally because of these resentments that have just built and built and no
Yeah.
one's ever dealt with them, you know?
I also think that Amanda is able to relax and have a good time and be herself because
Because he's not there.
yes.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Because he's not there, because he's not being a drunk DJ that she hates, because he's not there for her to roll her eyes at, she's able to just relax and be herself, and again, he knows that. And so
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, it's all the in between the lines,
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot happening.
Yeah, and so I think it's understandably very painful for him when he's like, "My wife is out here having a good time without me." Like, yeah, that's exactly what's happening, like, because she doesn't like you, and so, like,
Hmm.
it's I mean, he's not imagining this, I mean, he doesn't deal with it very well, but, like, he's
Yeah, when
certainly
does
not
he
imagining
curse?
it. Yeah, I mean, he basically is like, "Fuck you, way to support me." I think what he means by that is, like, she left while he was DJing. Like, I think he's pissed that maybe they left while he's, like, during his set in the living
Yeah,
room.
I'm just laughing about the amount of DJ sets I've had at my house. If I like had this reaction with Laura going to bed or whatever, it's just like, dude, come on. What
Yeah.
did you want? She stands in front of you with your king crown on that night and just, yeah, you got it. But maybe.
I mean, it literally reminds me of my six-year-old where he's like, "Mom, look at this, look at this, look at this, watch me do this, watch me do this." Like, that's and, like,
Yeah,
we'll get upset if I
totally.
am doing something else. Like, that is what
Yeah,
it reminds me of, like, he's having a child tantrum, and he's dysregulated like my six-year-old. And and,
yeah, it
and
really is.
well, and they try to talk to him. I mean, so he says like "fuck you, way to support me," and he kind of storms inside, and they try to talk to him in a way that like he's drunk. He can't in a way that like again, I as a parent of a kid who sometimes gets dysregulated, I know in that moment I cannot have a conversation with him.
Can't reach him.
I just
Yeah,
gotta wait. And so drunk adult 42-year-old Kyle, like nobody's like Amanda is like, don't worry about this, like don't talk about this, like leave this alone. Like, I mean, she's in such denial, like she's just like can't even be bothered. And they're like, no, wait, no, he can't talk to you like this. And she is like, this isn't worth having a conversation. And she says, like, or in the moment, I think it's then that is like, what is the point of talking about it? Like nothing is gonna but I
mhm,
think she also means in general. Like I don't think she just means in that moment. I think she means in general, nothing is gonna change. I've had this conversation so many times. Like,
yeah.
what is the point? But they sort of rally behind her and they're like, "He can't talk to you that way." And they try to
Yeah,
yeah,
it almost feels like this, like, for her, it's just another day in the life of a bad relationship. But for them, it almost feels like they hear this when
totally.
he says "F you." I
Yeah.
feel like for all of them that night, it sort of changed that moment.
Yes.
And, I'd never seen West so involved in their
Yeah.
dramas, but
Yeah,
he
I
was
guess
there and
Wes
heard it,
gets
and he's
really upset. Mhm. Yeah.
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 It was interesting how that happened.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just we see so they go inside, they all go inside, and Amanda is upstairs in the bathroom crying. West comes to talk to her. Kyle comes in at some point and calls her a fucking dumbass bitch, which is I mean, I mean,
I
seeing
think
this
I think
did I miss something?
after a hype talk from West to be like, "Just apologize."
Oh, did that come before this?
It
Okay.
did.
Yeah. Yeah. West
And
tries
so it's
to
like,
yeah, this is
even after all that, still in the tantrum, I guess.
it it's so dark. I mean, it's so dark
Yeah.
to see this play out, like, to have
It was hard to watch,
him talk to
honestly,
her
that
like that.
scene. Yeah.
It's just I don't know, and if she were to say the same thing to I mean, it just is so hard to watch this abuse, like, play out. It
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, really dark, and such a dark part of it is she's like, "Yeah, like, this just happened. This is just how it is." Like, and she's crying in the
Right.
bathroom to West, and she's like, "I just feel like I really can't do better," or, like, she says something like that. "The best I'm gonna do. This is the best I'm gonna do." I wrote it down. "This is the best I'm gonna do." That's what she says. And West is just like, "This is crazy." And I wonder, you know, I really do wonder if having them there is part of, like, Amanda's, the fact that they, at this point, really can't not say anything, and later in the episode, Sierra basically is
Mm,
like, "I think they should separate." I mean, they're really trying to starting to talk to them, like, "What the fuck is going on here? Like, this isn't okay."
right.
And I
It's
wonder.
a transition point almost, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder if that is really if that I mean, it had to a affect
Like, breaks
the
her out of that
outcome.
shell that's just like, "This
Right,
is what it is,"
right,
and,
right, right, right.
yeah, I at least in what we see in this episode, I think that's pretty well founded. It definitely changes things pretty significantly.
Yeah, because they really right, I mean, everyone else is like, "Holy shit, like, this is not okay." Like, as if
Yeah.
but, here's the thing.
What do you got? What do you got?
Uh, it does not have to get to a point of
Right.
fucking dumbass bitch, and then friends being like, "Holy shit, he just said 'fuck you' to her. She should not put up with this. Like, what's going on here?" Right? Like, clearly, again, he says this, like, they have had contempt for each other for many years and for many seasons.
Mm,
And the eye rolls and the insults and the dismissing and the invalidating and the mean comments, the passive aggression, all of those things, like, are important, like, cannot go unnoticed, like, it doesn't have to get to a point where literally you're saying "fuck
yeah.
you" in front of your friends, and your friends are like, "You need to leave this relationship." Like, it doesn't have to get to a point of hate. It doesn't have to get to a point of this type of level of abuse and hurt, and, like, Amanda says the next day to Lindsay, "I never cry. I cried 3 times last night." Like, it just doesn't I mean, in their case, it obviously did have to get to that point, right? Like, it you know?
Sure.
And so that's just what happened, and that's sort of part of how things happen and part of their story, and hopefully they're both everyone in that is, like, learning a lot from this and, lots of takeaways and, you know, growth and all that, but, like, it just doesn't have to get to that point. It doesn't have to get to a point of this for you to call it, right? For you to be like, "This isn't working." It doesn't have to get here, and there's a Jewish matchmaker show, well, there was, I guess it was a few years ago, where
Okay.
where what's her name? Aliza Ben Shalom. I think this is her who says her approach to dating is date him till you hate him. And I thought about her because I think that that's terrible advice.
Yeah.
And this is like, I mean, and I don't know that, I don't know what you would say about Kyle and Amanda, but I thought about it
Sure.
because it's like you really don't like you really don't have to get to a point of hate. And if you see the writing on the wall and if you see where things are going, like there are other options. You just don't have to stay in relationships like this. Like, this is awful, right? And,
Yeah.
and Kyle says, like, our relation like, the foundation of our relationship is terrible, like, we're talking about this, but, like, our foundation is broken. Amanda hates me, like, this is and then he's like, "Sometimes I think I should just give up." And I, of course, have issue with that term "give up" because I think people can decide that something no longer works for them and doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're deciding to leave a bad situation and create something new for yourself. And, I could talk and do talk for a long time about that. But he says, like, I put so much into this, it's like the sunk cost fallacy, and so like the dating advice. Yeah. Sorry.
And it hits a lot of crucial components
It's
of
just so
the
much,
work we do.
yeah, I mean, the date someone till you hate them, like, don't. Like, date someone until you don't wanna date them, until you see that there's no future for whatever reason, and then end it. Like, you don't have
Yeah,
to.
because what we are watching on the screen feels like the phrase.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's happening live.
Yeah,
The marriage ends
yeah,
later, right?
yep, yep.
And I feel like there's a they're both gonna have trauma out
Oh,
of
yeah,
how this all went down,
yeah,
and they didn't need to have,
yeah,
and it's gonna be a part of them.
yeah, and, like, the conversation later that West and Jesse have where West it's sort of the end of the episode, where
Oh,
West
sure. Oh, together in their room, maybe?
no, they're outside at the party. This is sorry, I'm
Oh, about
jumping
the
ahead.
marriage. Yeah,
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 about the
uh-huh.
marriage. Yeah, and, you know, one of the Jesse, I think, asks West asks let me check my notes. Um, like, "Have you ever seen them
Yeah,
good?"
West, yeah, mhm.
You know, and Jesse's like, I don't like, I guess when they're, like, dancing or whatever, right? Like, And West is like, Dude, that doesn't like, what?" And Jesse is like, "Well, I don't know, it's just, like, what a marriage is." But, like, no, it is not.
No,
Like,
sir.
no, sir. And again, like, for Kyle and Amanda to have gotten to this point, like, those eye rolls, those insults, those dismissing of each other, the disconnection, like, the insults that are not direct "fuck you," but, like, other types of insults, not taking each other seriously. I mean,
Mhm.
all these things are like, this is not, I mean, some marriages, but, like, if you grew up, I mean, I'm curious about Kyle and Amanda's parents' marriage. It makes me think about, like, the blueprint for
For
relationships, because
sure.
something does
Yeah.
not have to be in your face abusive, there doesn't have to be affairs or alcoholism or whatever people think are, like, quote unquote valid reasons to leave a marriage. It's like, you can just not like each other and
Yeah.
you cannot be compatible in that way, and, like, that's okay. And, for them to, again, it's hopefully, like, they've learned a lot and, like, are gonna heal and grow and, have, like, whatever, a great life apart.
Successful DJ career.
Yeah,
Yeah.
successful DJ career, exactly. Well, exactly, yes, he can have a successful I mean, that's the thing, like, you do you, Kyle, I mean, clearly,
Right.
like, it's just not compatible with the marriage. But anyway, it's just, like, it didn't have to get to this point that it got to, and, yeah, like, it's okay to walk away sooner when you see the writing on the wall. That's
It's definitely okay.
yeah,
I wanna briefly go back to that Jesse West conversation that
yep,
you were describing.
yep,
It was such an interesting moment for me because I think I think for a lot of viewers, I'll just speak for myself. Sometimes those 2 get grouped together for me in how they behave and act.
mhm,
They're also super close friends, they room together, all of that, so they contribute. But it was this really interesting moment where, as you described it, West's response, he's like, "What? No.
yeah,
No." And I had this sort of internal realization that those 2 have very different understandings, and from what I was hearing from West, it sounds like a much more mature understanding of what a marriage or a healthy relationship could and should look like.
yeah,
And that was
totally.
just kind of interesting.
Yeah, 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 for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, West is really like, this is like, this is, and you can kind of see him thinking back. Like, I mean, he asked, right? Like, have you ever seen them good? I think, like,
Right.
the wheels are turning in his mind where he's like, wait a second, like, when have I ever thought that they were good together? And he kind of comes back and he's like, never. They have not been good together.
It's like dancing. I just love
Like,
that.
sometimes they're not insulting each other. That
Right, 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 right.
let's raise the bar, people.
Yeah. Oh, and then another one from something you said that you mentioned Count Amanda, Parents Blueprint, all that, kind of what you come from and how it can contribute to what you expect in a relationship, what you allow,
Yep,
what you contribute.
yep,
Uh, Seeing what is happening, it's interesting. I feel like clients and couples I've talked to where both parties really want to stick it out, even if it seems like maybe the best for both is to potentially split. It's that they both came from families where no divorce existed.
yep, yep.
And it kind of, actually, I think you told me about this idea, and I started to see it a lot after you brought that up. So, really expand upon that. But yeah, it makes me wonder, because they're sticking in it in
Yeah,
the darkest of times.
totally. I mean, I say this all the time, like, a marriage is not the be all end all. Longevity does not mean happiness. Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't. I mean, we are told by society that it does, and people congratulate, you know, long marriages, decades long marriages, just without knowing any other information. Oh, you've been married 50 years? That's amazing. Is it? I don't know. Maybe. It could be. Hopefully it is.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure
Right.
for some people, of course, yeah, but, like, the the implication of a long marriage being a success and a happy one is,
Yeah.
like, is just not true, and it just keeps people in really unhappy situations, but so much of it is the blueprint, right? Like, if divorce is not on the radar, you just don't get divorced. It's just not on the radar, you
Yeah.
know?
You don't even realize it's an option. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
right.
like
Yep.
where you grew up and the
So
opportunities
many
you have, you know,
so many factors, cultural, religious, I mean, there's so many things, but Yeah, I mean, it just is yeah, it's not the be all end all. Yeah, yeah, lots of thoughts on that.
And marriage can be great.
Of course, there are amazing I mean, the right
Of
relationship, is
course.
there's nothing better. Love is amazing. Love and compatibility and passion and, all these things, like, but just the implication is, that, like, you have to
Yeah.
that, like, that's what it is, and this is, "Oh, well, this is the decision I made," and through thick and thin, it's like, it's 2026, guys. Anyway.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's really poignant the way you pointed out, you know, length of time does not mean happy. I think that's been equated for years.
Yeah. I'm just gonna share a quick personal story that will take 3 minutes. I was out about maybe about a year ago, whatever, with a friend having a drink at a bar, and there was a wedding rehearsal dinner at this bar, which is,
Okay.
and I was, of course, making comments that people can assume that I would make in that situation. And my friend and I ended up we were sitting we ended up chatting with this couple, an older couple who, were there at this wedding. They were in from out of town at this wedding, and we were just chatting with them. And, they're in their 70s. They've been married 40 years. And so my
Yeah.
friend asks, like, the thing that everyone asks these longtime married couples, "Hey, you've been married 40 years. What's your secret?" This woman who's, like, had a few at the time, she was like, "My secret? What do you mean? I just didn't get divorced." And I,
Oh
of course,
God.
start cracking up. I'm like, case in point, everything I say all the time. And she continues. She's like, "What am I gonna do?" She's like, "We have 3 girls. I'm gonna uproot their life. We are in the church. We have activities. I'm gonna get divorced. I'm gonna leave this guy. That's too hard. I'm not gonna leave this guy. Like, there's no
He's
secret."
sitting there. He's just sitting there.
He's just sitting there. He's just sitting there, silent. He's just sitting there crying. She essentially is like, "I fucking hate this guy." but
Incredible.
but it was too hard to get divorced. I mean, she's like, "I have no secret. The easier thing is to stay. It was too hard to get divorced, so I didn't get divorced." I'm of course like, did anyone hear that? Did everyone hear that?
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna need a bumper sticker. We're gonna
I know.
need
I'm like, "Can you
just a
repeat
book
this for my social
chapter.
media, please?"
Wow, Lana. I don't know where just in the wild.
But in the wild. But I just yes, very a supernatural thing that this came up, and I'm like, this is exactly again, this is not to say that there cannot be happy, loving, compatible, beautiful long-term marriages. I think it's amazing when that happens,
Yeah.
Um, and again, not a given. So, anyway.
Right. Yeah. I know we only have a couple minutes left, but I was wondering, you down to dive on the KJ
Yes, we should
Dara?
talk about KJ and Dana for sure. Yes. Um,
Wait, Dara, right?
Dara, sorry. Yes, Dara. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I was like, is there
Um,
another cast member I've been missing this whole time?
yeah, no, sorry. Yes, yes, yes. We should talk about Dara. Um, I just want to see if there's anything else. Well, okay. We can pivot to that. um, so, so yeah. So basically, they're getting ready for this party. I love their parties, right? Like a theme. They always have like these wild themes. They go all out for their themes. I would love a behind the scenes.
This theme is so good.
It's so good. I would love a behind the scenes of like who gets invited to these parties. Like, how does that work? Because it also seems like they have like they have like a set time, and they're always like, you can't go. You got to leave. Like, you gotta go home, but you can't
Yeah.
stay here. And I was like, what is this setup
Yeah.
here? Like, who gets invited to these? Like, I bet there are people that plan their whole summers around these theme
It
parties,
has
a
to be,
summer
right?
house.
And it
Yeah,
seems like to your point, when the party starts, it's almost like a gate gets opened and
exactly. Yeah,
this crowd
yeah,
comes in. We're ready for you.
yeah,
Hang out with us.
yeah.
The plebs have joined.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, this theme is of course amazing. It's like they all dress up as old people. It's so good. It's so good.
Sierra's costume
I
uh,
She's amazing.
is
Sh
just untouchable. I've never seen anything so good,
So
I
they all
think.
get glammed as like old people, and they rent. I assume they rent like vehicles, motorized cars to like go around, and
Oh, right.
they set up the grass as like like an old folks home living room with like the grandfather clock and the chair. It's
Oh, I didn't notice that. I didn't
so
appreciate
good.
that. That's so good.
It's so good. They really, and Amanda's really into it. Amanda's like, we gotta put up this. Can you help me with this? Like Amanda gets like so into like the theme here. Yeah. And
Yeah.
remember, this is all for Kyle's birthday. And so that's also like sort of dark element
Oh,
to all of
right.
this.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, and so Amanda, throughout all of this, like, Amanda's like, "Whatever, I'm not dealing with this. It's Kyle's birthday. We're gonna have a great time." And, Lindsay comments on her ability to compartmentalize, and Amanda's like, "Yeah, I have to." And I'm like, "This is not something to be proud of."
Right. That does not sound healthy,
Yeah, no,
but
definitely
at
not.
least she's aware.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like, this is not a good thing to, like, bury your feelings of hatred toward your husband. Anyway, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
So they have this party and Dara, KJ has invited Dara and throughout this KJ is sort of expressing he's nervous to see her. He likes her and then he heard this thing
Mhm.
where she spent an hour in Ben's room, according to Bailey, according to Lindsay. I mean, this is a bit of like a telephone situation that he gets this information. And of course, then Lindsay is like, "Oh, should I not have told you? You didn't know that?" Lindsay, I love you.
Perfect drop.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, just this innocent,
She
"Oh, I
she
you
truly
didn't
is like
know
a
that?"
producer plant.
My gosh,
Yeah.
truly, truly.
Yeah.
Producers,
She
what's
has a
the
future in reality TV production.
yeah, Lindsay, if anything changes,
Yeah.
the advertisements aren't working out or
Yeah, the
whatnot, just
T-Mobile
keep in mind.
T-Mobile dropped
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
So, they're and KJ's, he actually talks about how he gets super nervous. He tells them he had a panic attack, or he tells Sierra and Mia that he had
Yeah.
a panic attack about it. They do some like breathing, like
Oh,
grounding.
that was cute, yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, listen, he's really anxious. I mean, he just hasn't talked about where he stands with her, and this contributes to a lot of anxiety. So, you know, these are conversations that are important to have early on when you're dating. Like, hey, what's up? What's going on? Where are we at? How do you feel? I like
Yeah,
you. I don't want to date other people. What do you think? I mean, not having these conversations, this is like what happens. You like have a panic attack because you think the person you like is spending time with someone else and you don't know what's going on, right? So,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, definitely. To clarify, just to make sure I understand or remember correctly. So, was it that the weekend prior, when did Ben and Dara's hour happen? I was having a hard time figuring
Yeah,
that
good
out.
question. I guess it must have been the prior weekend because they had a
Okay.
whole week to, like, talk about it because they flash back where Bailey says like, they flash
Uh,
back to a lunch or something where they're getting together
yeah,
as a
yeah, with
group.
Lindsay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay. So it's a week prior. Okay.
And so KJ is all spinning in his head, and he's talked about his anxiety before, right? So, he
Yeah.
gets super anxious about it. Dara comes, he's, like, unloading the grocery. He does, like, don't know how to work the fridge, which is, like,
Oh, right. He's
I
had the fridge like 2 or 3
know.
times with that. I'm like, "This is a coping mechanism. I don't know what's happening here."
Yeah, totally. Um, she comes he doesn't go to greet her when she walks in, which I noted. I think he's just I think he's
Oh.
anxious. I think that it's just a nice this is an example of, like, these quote unquote "little things" that couples do or don't do that contribute to disconnection or connection, right? Like, so
It
many
can't be a
people.
good sign that it can't be a good sign that I didn't notice, Elana.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
So, I mean, like greeting each other when you walk in, like actually getting up to greet I mean, there's early dating, but still, like, he likes her. He should greet her at the door. My 2 cents.
Like you do to your dog and your dog does to you, to your
Exactly.
point from,
Exactly.
episode 1 of
Exactly.
today.
Exactly. Exactly. A lot of people really do complain about that. I walk in and my partner doesn't even look up from the computer. They don't even notice that I'm there. I mean, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
So she goes to help him with the groceries in the fridge. Then he goes to take her bag upstairs. And I know that you have some feelings about carrying the luggage, which I think is like its own cast member.
Okay, just for the public listening, I am supportive of, helping people carry things.
I just think I think it's funny how I feel like the whole idea of like the women leaving their bags either in the
Yeah.
car or like in the front entrance and like the men coming to get them is like its own like cast member in this series. Like it's like there's just
Truly,
so
truly.
much attention to it.
Every weekend, and, like, they just leave
It's
them all
so
there.
good.
The boys will get it. Oh, don't worry about that. Like, new cast members there, just
It's
trying to
so
just, like,
good.
leave
Yeah.
it.
I mean, they
Uh,
leave the trunk open for, like, the boys' car to see that the
right,
trunk is
right.
open, to take the bags out, like, just like, they'll
It
know what to
really is
do.
its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Don't worry about it, honey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Wait, just to make sure I understood it. is his anxiousness is out of a recognition he needs to talk to her about he was kinda anxious before he learned that from Lindsay,
Well,
right?
exactly. That's yeah, exactly. So I think he was already anxious about where they stood, and then he heard
Yeah.
this from Lindsay, and then he got even more anxious, and then he did talk to her about it. I mean, they, he asks her, and they have a whole conversation about it, and
Right.
she says, "I just went in, my bag was in there. I went in to change my clothes, and that was it." And she also says, "I also would be anxious if I was worried that you would like that you were like that you like someone else." And so they kind of have this like, yeah, we like each other, like, convo, and she, I mean, she hears him and, like, it's, they sort of move forward, but I think we'll see.
Well, that's really interesting, to the, audience listening. Alana and I did not text much about this situation. When we view, we sometimes have some text back and forth about
Yeah.
us. I didn't perceive it like that. I kind of read it as, that's all you have to say about this, Dara? That's
Uh,
that's the explanation? There's not more here, maybe? You're not gonna maybe give a little more comfort?
uh-huh. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that might have been my thought because I also knew how nervous and sort of thrown off he was by the situation and how Bailey had talked about it to Lindsay, and then Lindsay turned into a rabid drama dog. Um, but I so your point, it it wasn't bad. Like there was no bad vibes. I just almost thought, "Oh, I'm surprised she didn't give him a bit more of comforting."
Yeah.
And
It definitely was not super
yeah.
resolved.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that and she's also like she's like, "Bailey and I need to talk," or something like that. Was
Yeah,
that
she
it?
did say that. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Okay.
definitely is not super resolved. But also, like, this anxiety kit, it's like this is another sort of example. It reminds me a little bit of Carl. It's like, uh, I mean, you can't tell people you can't tell people how to feel, right? I know this. But like, what I would want for KJ is like confidence. I mean, in our not last episode that we did an hour ago, the one before where
Yes,
I was
yes.
talking about their first date and KJ asks about Ben and he's like, "I thought you were into Ben." And he expresses a lot of insecurity about it. And then here it is again. It's like, also, if she's into Ben, she's into Ben. If she's not into you, no big deal. Like, someone else will be. Like, it's okay.
Right.
This is not gonna break you or kill you, or, like it's all right. And so, but his insecurity is
Yeah.
gonna eventually, I mean, is gonna, like, be an issue in itself, so it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, I mean, you can talk to her about it.
Mm.
I mean, I understand that, like, wanting to talk, but, like, he's just getting in his own way. Like, she likes you, obviously. Like, she likes you. She's there with you. She's on
Yeah,
a date.
that's
She's
the other thought in my head from
Yeah.
what you're describing. It's like, she's here in this room with you.
Yeah.
She came to visit you.
Yeah, so she should bring pajamas. Like, she's into you. Like, it's
Exactly.
yeah, but your insecure attachment is gonna,
Yeah,
is gonna cause its own issues. So, we'll see how that plays out.
truly. How many I've been counting down the hours. How many more do we have? 96 hours? What is it?
Okay, we are wrapping this up because I think that we are wrapping this up. So they'll have the party, the party with all the costumes are great, and then it just gets dark again about Kyle and Amanda. And it just ends at sort of the beginning of the party. It ends with the conversation with West and Jesse talking about the marriage, right?
Oh, right,
And there are
yeah,
lots of in the moments with Kyle just being like, "This is a terrible situation. My wife hates me." I mean, it comes kind of comes back to that. So like, oh, and
yeah.
Sierra says, I think they should split up. She's talking to Jesse and West and KJ, and she basically is just like, they're all talking about the relationship, they're all talking about the marriage, and Sierra is basically just like, "I think they should separate." She's like, I'm not saying that they should divorce, but I think they need time. They should see, they need to reset, like, they should separate and see how it is." And then Jesse comments on that, and he's like, "I was really surprised to hear Sierra just come out and say this." But
Right,
I think Sierra has been thinking about this, been thinking this for a long time, and I think now she finally feels like, okay, Kyle just said "fuck you" to Amanda on television, and so now I can say how I really feel, which is when she makes that comment about, like, "Amanda, please don't have kids with him." Like, that was earlier in the episode.
yeah.
She's, like, chatting in the bed with Mia, and she says, like, "I just want her,"
Mhm.
and now she's like, "I just think they should separate." And I think that she now is able to sort of say what she's been thinking for a long time. I mean, we know this. She's been saying, "You deserve better. Is he making you happy? You really want to this DJ thing?" I mean, she's been planting the seed for a long time. And I think she actually even says, like, they'd be happier apart, or someone says, like, they both deserve to be happy. Maybe they'd be happier apart. Someone
I'm trying to remember who.
It was
Yes,
like an in
someone
the
does say it.
moment, it was to the camera, and
Yeah.
it might have been Jess. It was someone, but I noted that someone said that. Oh, and Wes talks about the watch. I just wanna say there's one other thing.
Oh, does he?
He's like, "I knew that gift was a bad sign, if someone gives a big gift, it's a bad situation."
Oh, yeah. Yes, yes, that was so funny.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. And
And
and it's also
there is some wisdom.
in that yes, in this particular situation, for sure. Yes, West is like,
Yeah.
this was obviously like a desperate attempt here. In general, nice gifts are great.
Yeah, yeah, Wes, don't take that one too far.
Right, right, right.
That's our advice. Yeah.
Totally, totally, totally.
Wait,
But
but as you were describing the end of party conversation or that scene, I had a flashback because, as the viewers of this podcast might already be aware, there are no previews at the end of
I
episode 8.
know.
However, I just remembered one of the previews at the end of episode 7 is them all dressed as old people, and remember Amanda's sobbing? Do you remember this?
Oh, no.
And
Oh,
it's
yes.
a
Yes, yes, yes,
and
yes,
so I
yes.
think that's what's this is
Yeah.
gonna turn into.
I think
The
episode
party's not over.
9 I think episode 9 well, and there were other previews about a fight out front, Kyle and Carl, like a physical
Right.
fight. Yeah,
Not good.
yeah, not
Not
good,
good.
not good, not good. Another thing is Wes dressed up as Mrs. Doubtfire, which I fully appreciate and just have to shout that out.
Yeah,
Per
he went
perfect
hard.
perfection.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to say about Kyle and Amanda, but now I lost it, but it doesn't matter. We've
Hey,
we
the
we talked
good thing
we
is
talked a lot about
I
that.
think we're gonna be talking about them again this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. Yeah, it just, uh, K Kyle says oh, yeah.
You're like, "I'm gonna find it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna find it."
yeah. I mean oh, one more thing. Yeah, yeah. Finances come up again. Loverboy, how he's really struggling financially, and Ben says to the to the viewers, when they're all talking about this fight, when they're all talking about what Kyle said to Amanda, Ben says, "Listen, I
Yes.
understand that he's under a lot of stress with Loverboy and money and stuff, but there's really is, like, no excuse." And Amanda
Yeah.
says, "I get that, but when I've been depressed and sad, that's not how I act to my partner, and so it's really hurtful." And it just reminded me, I mean, again, obviously we've talked at length about them, but, this idea of, like, like, couples feeling like they can sort of be the worst versions with each other because, like,
Mm,
someone's stressed about money and so you could be a dick. It's like, n no, right, I mean, you have to bring your best self to your relationship and your partner,
yeah.
and even if you were super stressed about money, you're not gonna call your boss a fucking asshole, right? And
Yeah.
so
No, it's
it
really
really,
true.
I just wanted to note that because, yeah, life is hard and life is gonna life, but, your partner deserves the best version of you, and oftentimes that's not what happens because people think like, "Oh, well, I'm going through things and I can just be myself," but, yourself is sort of the worst version of yourself, and obviously Kyle and
I'm
Amanda
just
are bringing out
writing that down. I'm just writing that be best version of self for my wife. That is a very good one.
you are so
True, like
welcome
truly.
for that
So,
free marriage advice. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's something that I talk about a lot with my clients, right? This idea, it's like, of course you're gonna go through shit, like, of course you are, right? But bringing out the worst in each other, and again, we've talked about this with the two of them. I mean, they just really, really do, right? Like Kyle, there's no way that Kyle wants to be cursing at his wife. Like that's just not
totally.
and I mean, he says it. He says in the morning, I think he says like, I feel bad, I'm only human. I've reached my breaking point, basically, and
Yeah,
so yeah, it's dark. It's dark and it's real, but I'm so glad, thank God that they are splitting up because again, can you imagine watching
truly.
this and them like still being married? They can't. There's no way that could
They
happen,
they
right? But yeah.
my thought is they'd have to go join the valley.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited for Pleasant Valley. Starts next week.
Ready.
Stay tuned,
Body,
folks.
mind, and soul.
Um,
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up this 54-minute discussion that was
I
supposed to
don't
be
think
40
so,
minutes?
but if you're still here, listener, we really appreciate it, and
Thank
we
you for
hope the
hanging
insights
in.
have been helpful.
We'd love to hear listener thoughts. Obviously, Andrew and I both love to break down reality TV. So if anybody has thoughts or comments, we would love to hear them. But I will close this out officially. This has been Talk Relationship to Me, produced by Peach Island Productions. I'm Dr. Elana Hoffman. Do you have a question about relationships? I'd love to hear from you. Go to my website, drelanahoffman.com, and click contact, or find me on Instagram at dr.elanahoffman. That's dr.elanahoffman. You can find all the info you need, including more about today's episode, in the show description. And if you have questions or comments about today's episode or other questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. You could inspire a podcast topic. Thank you again, Andrew, for joining me, for your time and expertise.
Thank you.
And your wisdom and commentary on all of this wild ride that is season 10 of Summer House. And
I'll send a payment for all the insights.
Oh yeah,
that you've given for my own marriage.
You are so welcome. Yeah, and Laura, you are also welcome.
She thanks you as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for listening, everyone. Until next time.